Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's board meeting. Opening items, call to order.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. Present tonight are Trustee Contreras, Trustee Arellano, Trustee Castillo, Trustee Calderon, and Trustee Avilla. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. B, presentations. Number 1, we have the Calexico High School Mock Trial Team Competition winners. Mr. Jimenez?
Thank you, President Avina. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to present to our school board and our community, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, our Calexico High School Fighting Bulldogs mock trial team. We are very, very proud of our students. We haven't had a mock trial team in quite a while already. It's been many, many years. And so under the leadership of our Calexico High School teacher, Mr. Chris Lopez, he had a vision. He wanted to bring it back. At the beginning, I know it was a little bit difficult trying to get student interest, but once he did, he got an outstanding group of students. He did give me, unfortunately, he won't be able to be here tonight, Mr. Lopez, but he did send me a statement and asked me if I could read it on his behalf. I gotta share that at first I thought that the statement was pretty long and I was only gonna read half of it, but then I thought, then if I get into a debate with our student attorneys, they're gonna, I'm gonna lose and they're gonna win, then I'm gonna have to read it. So, and then they have their coach, mentor, attorney here, Ms. Barreto, who could probably file like an injunction on me. And I said, I'm just gonna read the whole statement. And so this is on behalf of Mr. Chris Lopez. Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees. Good evening, Superintendent Jimenez. My name is Chris Lopez. I want to apologize that I could not attend the meeting in person this evening. However, I truly appreciate the opportunity to say a few words and to thank you for recognizing our Calexico mock trial team for 2026. I would first like to thank Assistant Superintendent Elisa Ramirez for her support throughout the mock trial competition, as well as Mrs. Brisa Huerta for reaching out to me as soon as she was aware of our mock trial team. I would also like to recognize 2 students who were there from the very beginning when I first put the announcements for the Calexico mock trial, Valeria Renteria and Gloria Garcia. These 2 students were there from day one. They helped put up posters, created social media posts, and recruited more students. At the beginning, it was not easy. In fact, there were moments when we thought we might not even have enough students to form a team, but they stayed committed, and little by little we began to grow. I want to thank our 4 student attorneys, Nadia, Valeria, Jacili, and Luz. These 4 students did an amazing job. It was so great watching them become so focused while playing the roles of attorneys. It was amazing to see them become so passionate about this competition. I also want to give a special thanks to Ms. Mariela Barreto, our attorney coach. Without her dedication and hours of working with our students, all of this would not have been possible. She not only became their coach, but a role model to our students. She did an excellent job in preparing our students for their competition. It wasn't always easy, but there were moments when students became frustrated along the way. Still, she kept pushing forward and continued building the team. The real turning point came when Judge Nunez first visited our students and spoke to them about the legal system. His passion inspired them and helped them see what a mock trial could truly be. From that moment, their interest and commitment began to grow. Later, when he invited the students to visit his courtroom, the experience made everything feel real and further strengthened their excitement and dedication to the program. That was when I could truly see their learning growth and dedication take shape. I would also like to thank Trustee Mike Castillo and Kevin Arellano for attending one of our competitions, and meant a lot for the students to see board members there supporting them and witnessing firsthand what our students are accomplishing. I want them to see Calexico students' dedication. I really appreciated that from both of them as a Calexico teacher resident here in Calexico High School. I would also like to thank Assistant Superintendent Lisa Ramirez, who attended one of my competitions as well. She sat next to me during the trial and was truly impressed by what she saw. After watching the full competition, I could see that she too could see how talented and dedicated our students were. I would also like to thank Trustee Mrs. Calderon, who reached out to me several times to ask how the team was doing and showed great excitement for the program. I'm incredibly proud of our students and proud of our colleagues as educators, because this team represents what our school community is about. I'm extremely proud of the entire team. Many of these students I see every day, and it has been inspiring to watch them develop confidence, professionalism, and teamwork. During the competition, we got so much positive feedback during our being our first year. I'm also grateful that professionals like Judge Nunez and other attorneys were able to meet our students. Those connections were very important because they allow our students to see their possibilities that exist beyond high school. Hopefully, some of these relationships will continue and help guide them as they move forward into college and future careers. Finally, I would like to recognize Luna Carrasco and Valeria Renteria, who each received $500 scholarship from the judges for their outstanding performance as attorneys during the competition. In particular, Luna delivered one of the strongest pre-trial presentations in the entire program. His preparation, creativity, and dedication were truly impressive. As his teacher, I have the privilege of seeing him in my first period class every day, and it has been incredible to watch him grow throughout this process. I can honestly say that he was by far the best pretrial attorney in the whole Imperial County mock trial competitions. Thank you again for recognizing our mock trial team and for continuing to support the students of Calexico. Mr. Chris Lopez, Calexico High School teacher. Let's give Mr. Lopez a round of applause. At this point, President Avina, Board of Trustees, I'd like to ask our coach, mentor attorney, Ms. Mariela Barreto, to the podium to share a few words. There's a green button right in the middle. There you go.
It turns green.
It turns green.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here to celebrate these students that are more like my children now, because we have become so close over this mock trial competition. I wanted to say, and I wanted you all to understand how well these students did, given the very little time that we had compared to other students, and the fact that every single student here is new to the mock trial team. All of the other schools had students that have been in the team 1, 2, 3, and 4 years. Most of them are seniors, juniors. So this team was able to accomplish in about half the time of preparation a third place win. So that tells us how much talent there is in Calexico and how necessary it is for us to have one more time to prepare with the kids. We didn't even have a team, and honestly, when I was first approached, we didn't know we would be able to achieve, what we did, but they did. They did this. So I just want you all to know how important it is for Calexico. I mean, I graduated from Calexico High School, and I think it's so important for this program to exist and to continue. And I'll be here as long as you guys will have me. But, I hope that we have the support from the board for next year. I think that we can take the win if we have the resources and the preparation next time. Thank you all so much. And truly, these kids they're the best in my opinion. Thank you all so much. Also, Mr. Lopez, I wanted to let you guys all know that he also got recognition because after all this time, we have a team again, and hopefully it continues. And Calexico High School has a mock trial team from now on. And who knows? I mean, Winston took it this time, but we could win it next year. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Ms. Barreto.
Mr. Jimenez, correct me if I'm wrong, was Mr. Lopez Coach of the Year, or? was
I
that
believe
happening?
so,
Well,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Mock trial, yes. That's something
Not
else.
bad for his first year,
Right,
right?
yes.
Not bad at all. So at this time, Board of Trustees, I'd like to present some awards. And first, I'd like to start off with the small token of appreciation by presenting this plaque to our mentor, coach attorney, Ms. Mariela Barreto. Once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. Ain't no pity in Bulldog City. Where's Mr. Moreno? Where's Mr. Moreno? He's right outside. An appreciation presented to Ms. Mariela Barreto in grateful recognition of your generous support, mentorship, and dedication to the Calexico High School mock trial team. Your guidance and commitment to civic education inspire our students and help foster the next generation of legal professionals. With sincere appreciation, Calexico Unified School District Board of Trustees, March 12, 2026. In addition to this, as with the case with all of our people that we recognize. Today we're going to, for the very first time, bring out the next edition of La Historia de Calexico, the history of Calexico. And this book is actually, it's a sneak peek because it hasn't even been out yet. So you're the first ones to be getting it in the whole entire world. So all of our students will be receiving this as well, but I'd like to start off, if I could ask the Board of Trustees, if you could stand in the front and help deliver the awards to our team. And we'll start with Ms. Barreto. Okay. And students, when I call your name, please come up and get your certificate, shake hands, and then stay up here because we're going to take pictures, okay? All right. And you can stay up here as well, Miss Barreto. Yes, we're not letting you off that easy. This is my courtroom. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. Okay, Allison Anguiano. Is Allison here? Okay. We could give Allison a round of applause. Luz Baltazar. Down here. Okay. Luna Carrasco. Genavi Delgado. Genavi Delgado. Emiliano Fierro. Stay up here. Gloria Garcia. Nadia Garcia. Renata Gutierrez. Georgina Lopez. Alexa Medina. Madison Mercado. Juan Navarro. Genesis Osejo. Jaceli Salayas. Valeria Renteria. And we also have a message from Judge Nunez, Honorable Judge Marco Nunez, the message is going to be read by Luna Carrasco. So, Luna, if you'd like to approach the podium, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Luna Carrasco, and I served as the team's pretrial motion attorney. Unfortunately, Judge Nunez couldn't make it today, but he asked me to share these remarks on his behalf. Good evening, members of the Calexico School Board, educators, families, and most importantly, the students of Calexico High School mock trial team. I regret that I cannot be with you tonight. I am currently in San Diego at the hospital with my mother, who recently underwent emergency surgery. My hope is simply to be here for her and help her see through the recovery ahead. But I could not let this moment pass without recognizing a group of students who have made all of us in the legal community extraordinarily proud. When I first visited Calexico High School and stepped into Mr. Lopez's classroom to meet the mock trial team, I remember being immediately impressed. The students were thoughtful, confident, and unafraid to engage with difficult legal questions. As I listened to the responses, I remember thinking that many of them already sounded like students ready for law school. That first impression only grew stronger during the competition. This team entered the competition after more than a decade without a mock trial program at Calexico High School. They started later than many other schools and had less time to prepare. Yet, when they stepped into the courtroom, they performed at an exceptionally high level, competing against teams with decades of experience and holding their own with remarkable preparation and poise. But what impressed me the most was even more than their performance was their character as a team. They supported one another, they stepped into unfamiliar roles when needed, sometimes at last minute, and they learned to trust each other. There was no weak link, because they understood that success in the courtroom, just like in life, depends on working together. I also want to recognize the adults who made this arrival possible. Mr. Lopez opened his classroom at his time to build the foundation for this team. Their attorney coach, Mariela Barreto, brought professional insight and dedication that strengthened their preparation. The school administration, including the principal, the vice principal, and Ms. Price, even came to a practice session to introduce themselves and encourage the students. That kind of support sends a powerful message that students' works matter. In all the years I have mentored mock trial students, I can say without hesitation that I have never been more impressed or proud of a group of young people. Their courage and resilience brought a program back to life and reminded all of us why opportunities like mock trial matter so much. The entire legal community is proud of them. Their teachers are proud of them. Their families are proud of them, and their community in Calexico should be proud of them as well. The skills they developed through this experience, critical thinking, preparation, teamwork, and integrity, will serve them far beyond a mock courtroom. I have no doubt they will find success in whatever professional paths they choose to pursue, and most importantly, in life. I hope they continue to keep me and their community updated on all the worlds they go on to conquer. Even from a hospital room in San Diego, I want you to know that I am absolutely bursting with pride. Congratulations to the Calexico High School mock trial team. You have made your school, your community, and the entire legal profession proud. Thank you.
Thank you. And Board of Trustees, Ms. Barreto, if we could ask you to, on our behalf, on the board's behalf, if you could also deliver this back to Judge Nunez from Calexico Unified School District in appreciation presented to Honorable Judge Marco D. Nunez in grateful recognition of your generous support, mentorship, and dedication to the Calexico High School mock trial team. Your leadership and commitment to justice inspire our students and strengthen their understanding of the legal system. With sincere appreciation, Calexico Unified School District Board of Trustees, March 12, 2026.
Well, so I say congratulations, boys and girls. We are so very proud of you. And I recognize some of my ex-students from either Jefferson or William Moreno Junior High. So good job. Very proud of you. And parents, thank you, parents, for doing what you do to support your students, your children, working very closely with our teachers. And boys and girls, this is due to your hard work and dedication. It's all on you, with the support of your families, and of course, all the teachers you had since kindergarten to now, right? They help shape who you are right now as future attorneys here. So hopefully I never have to use or need an attorney in the future, but if I do, I'll look for one of you. Right? Thank you so much.
They want to see.
Board member, anybody else want to say something?
No, just a quick congratulations. I think it's a high achievement, you guys going through all the adversity of learning everything out all at once, right? Because it's a lot to do in there. And for Attorney Navarreto taking her time, thank you very much for that, as well as Judge Nunes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Same here. I just want to congratulate you. I had the opportunity to attend one of your mock trials. I was very impressed. For some of you that know or might not know, I'm in law enforcement, and I've been fortunately not as an attorney, or unfortunately not as an attorney, because I initially wanted to be an attorney, and I ended up becoming a probation officer, which I don't regret, and hopefully some of you pursue a law enforcement career, so I'm always trying to recruit people. But I got to see some of the work that you did, and I was very impressed. I expressed to Mr. Lopez how impressed I was with just the level of maturity, the questioning. I was able to see some of the prosecutors. There was one young girl that unfortunately she couldn't make it today, but very sassy. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Like Mr. Avina mentioned right now, I hope I never get to be on that side of in trouble or anything like that, and she prosecutes me because I'm going to be in trouble. She did an excellent job the time that I was there. For some of us that are in law enforcement, it is very nerve-wracking to be questioned, and some of you showed a lot of maturity in the way you questioned, the way you answered questions. I was very impressed. So again, congratulations. You did an awesome job. Let's go for first place next year. I'm sure with the help of Ms. Barreto, we can definitely do that. Thank you.
As well, again, good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. It means much to us and to our community to have you here in person representing the school site. Again, I think it's, just know that we're very proud of you. I think our community's proud as well. As far as mock trial, the high school had a very strong team many, many years ago. Very active and involved. And, for a period of time, that was missing. There was a void. So I think we're very much pleased to see that you guys have stepped up, with the support of the district, support of the adults in the community and the school. You guys are bringing mock trial back and doing very well, so we are proud of you. And just know, I think you do have our support. I want to see you guys continue to be successful in whatever endeavors, whatever you choose in life. Just know that we're proud of you. And I think, as we've said earlier, once that bulldog, always the bulldog. So thank you, guys.
I was not able to see you in action, but I kept communicating with your coach, and he kept me updated, and I was just so excited from afar. And I'm super excited for next year. I'm a big fan of law shows like Law and Order and stuff like that. So when I found out that, you guys were stepping up to the plate after being missing in action for so many years, I got so excited, and I know that next year, you got this. You got this. Congratulations.
Okay, moving on with our agenda. Item number 2, we have our robotics MESA team competition winners. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, President Avina. It is just as the same, my great privilege and honor to present to you tonight another year again our robotics teams who have also competed at a county competition and did exceedingly well. So at this point, I would like to, maybe we could have, you guys could, if you want to watch the presentation, you could stay here, we'll bring our robotics team in. It's a very large team. So maybe Ms. Barreto, if you guys want to stay and watch, you don't have to leave or you can, but you could stay and watch. Yeah, right. You could stand all around if you like. All right. Congratulations. Yeah. There is, yeah. Okay, we'll bring in our robotics team. And we do have a few extra seats available right here in the front. Yeah. Okay, and so at this time, I would like to introduce and ask to approach the podium Mr. Magallanes, our Calexico High School robotics instructor, and Ms. Mesa from Enrique Camarena Junior High School. And they will be sharing some words with us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Delfina Mesa. I work at Enrique Camarena Junior High, and I see some of my ex-students in Calexico High School with Mr. Magallanes. My students chose the class last year, my 8th graders. They decided to be in Mesa, so they work hard. We did the robotic competition on January 26th of this year. So they spent part of September, October, November, December, and we went and compete. And I'm very proud because they have been working so hard. They didn't know what to expect. First time doing this. And we had 40 teams from all the junior high schools here in the Imperial Valley. My kids, my students, I'm sorry. My students were able to win first, second, and third place. So they brought, they need to put a name to their group. So the first place is Los Patroncitos. And they're Nolan Velázquez, Benjamín González, and Leonardo Cabrera. My second place, they named their team Goblin Gang. It's Jonathan Rangel, Oliver Carrillo, and Abraxam Medina. The third place, they named themselves the Power Pugs. Santiago Casillas, Miguel López González, Joshua Pacheco, and Julieta González Tovar. My other two teams also, they got 5th place. Okay, Jaime Hernandez, Jaden Gutierrez, Hector Diaz, and Violet Ruelas Mejia. And my last team, there were 5 teams, they won 11th place. So we went above the media, so we were doing good. It's Ángel Velázquez, Irene Marmolejo, and Julissa Estrada. So they've been working hard. And we're going to have our next competition this coming Saturday at IVC. So please keep us in your thoughts so we can hopefully get as many prizes as this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mesa. And I just, I think we just gotta take a moment to really process that. Out of over 40 teams, Calexico Unified took 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd place, and 5th place, and 11th place. So, 4 of the top 5 scores, and the 11th score is not too bad out of 40 either. So congratulations to all of our Enrique Camarena. Great job, guys. And now for our Calexico High School Bulldogs, Mr. Magallanes.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to celebrate our students' accomplishments. We get robots somewhere between September, and we get to work on them. And at the beginning, we take out the different sensors that the robot has, that the kit has, and we learn about how to programming, how to use them, how to combine them as different systems. At some point in time, we take out the competition, and there's guidelines as to what their parameters, as to what they're supposed to do and not, and what they're not able to do. And then they have to take the time to design their own robot. So everything is innovative. It's not something that they can get out of a kit and follow instructions. That was the beginning. The beginning was to create a robot that could move, and they were able to program it and make it move. And then once we started the competition, this time the challenge was to be able to make it into a basket, a little ball into a basket. And most of them decided to do a catapult. And the catapult was being propelled by the motors that come in the kit. But they had to 3D print it, so they have to take the time to design the actual catapult, the lever that is going to be moving up and down with the motors. So it was all innovative. It was all their creation. I only teach them a little bit of how to use and how to code and how to do the start building. And then from then, they take over, and I'm really proud. We were short first by only 5 points, but we got second, third, and fourth place right here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Magallanes. And at this time, if I could ask the board if we could come to the front of the dais, joined by our teachers, Ms. Mesa and Mr. Magallanes. Ladies and gentlemen, when I call your name, please come up to the dais and receive your certificates with your book. Okay, and we'll give you your books in a little bit. All right, so we'll start with Enrique Camarena Junior High School first. Mr. Leonardo Cabrera. Oliver Carrillo. Santiago Casillas. Héctor Díaz. Julissa Estrada. Julieta González Tovar. Benjamín González. Jaden Gutiérrez. Jaime Hernández. Miguel López González. Irene Marmolejo. Abraham Medina. Joshua Pacheco. Jonathan Raquel. Ruelas Mejía. Ángel Velázquez. And Nolan Velázquez. So Mr. Magallanes is recruiting for next year already. STEM 1 robotics. Okay. Now the presentation of our Calexico High School team. Christopher Quintana. Cristian Ontiveros. Joel Escalante Diaz. Yes. Jimmy Vargas. Sabina Lugo. Danabel Maldonado. Gilberto Vázquez. Romina Martínez. Ashley Quesada. Leah Martínez. And Eli Rivera. Somebody wants to help them out. Okay, so for our robotics and MESA STEM students, you're more than welcome, and parents and families, you're more than welcome to stay the rest of the night. We'll be done about midnight tonight, so but we completely understand you have homework and got to get dinner and maybe go out to eat or something, so feel free to step out at this point if you like. Thank you, guys. Pero espérate que se para. Thank you, Ms. Mesa. Thank you.
Experience from Jefferson.
Oh, sí. Ajá.
The junior high kids, some of them were second grade when I left Jefferson.
Mhm.
They were in second grade.
So,
Yeah, I had the same.
and
the eldership.
and now they're in junior high.
And then high.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Moving on in the agenda, we have C, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item of district business that is not on the agenda. We have Graciela Batani. May you come up to the podium? Thank you.
Is my time starting? Oh. Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, and district leadership. I cannot believe that I'm standing here again asking for support for my child. After months of meetings, emails, and reports, I am still here fighting for something as basic as a safe, supportive environment for a 5-year-old kindergartner. Despite efforts to minimize or overlook his progress, my child has been making strides. There continue to be conflicting reports about his behavior and improvements, and even with inconsistent implementation of his BIP, he's still showing growth. When a student is improving despite of inconsistency, the question should not be how to document the negatives. It should be how to support what is working. Progress should never feel like it is being undermined by an adult, disagreements, or personal agendas. After his new IEP and BIP put in place, we began to see regulation, effort, and positive changes. For the first time this school year, things are moving in the right direction. As of now, the barrier is not my child, it is the adults. Adults who cannot put their egos aside, adults who cannot put their differences aside, adults who cannot work together as a team for the benefit of a student who depends on them. On March 6, 2026, I was verbally assaulted by Ms. Davila Zaragoza inside of the classroom with students present. That was unacceptable, unprofessional, and unsafe. A student in the room began crying and said, "I am scared." Shortly after that interaction, I went into medical distress and had to spend the day in the hospital due to pregnancy-related complications that triggered by that situation. No parent should leave the classroom and end up in the hospital. No student should have to witness adults arguing at school. All year long, my son has been painted as an aggressor, as a violent child, and as the problem, even by the very person assigned to support him. All I'm asking is simple: remove her from his case. Let him finish the school year with the team that actually wants to work with him, not against him. I was told by Mr. Price that I do not have the right as a parent to choose who works directly with my child. But we all know staffing changes have been made before when situations were not working. So why not now? When a student's progress is being affected. It is not fair that because of adults that cannot put their prides aside, the one paying the consequences is my 5-year-old little boy who just wants to go to school, learn, and make friends. At this point, this is not a student performance issue. It's a professional performance issue. When a staff member is defensive, unwilling to collaborate, and unwilling to build a positive relationship with the family, the student suffers. I'm asking for collaboration. I'm asking for inclusion. Neurodivergent students will continue to share a classroom with neurotypical students. It is the responsibility of the adults in the district to make that work, not punish children for what they cannot control. I also need to say this to district leadership. Parents deserve to be heard. Since the first time I came to this board in November,
You may finish your last sentence, Ms. Patani. Go
not
ahead.
one of your members, not any of you have listened to me or taken the time to speak to me directly. I have also reported that the administrator, Ms. Noriega, has been monitoring my social media every single day. Do you think that's appropriate? That's not appropriate. Why am I being seen and why am I being monitored instead of supported? So I ask all of you guys to really take a look at this case that you have not taken the time to do so. Let's not make it right to retaliate against students, to retaliate against parents, to retaliate against the IEP team and outsiders looking in. That's all I ask from you. Remove Ms. Davila from my son's case, hold Ms. Noriega accountable, and hold everybody that has made my son's kindergarten experience a nightmare. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Okay, moving on to D, consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon by one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled for a separate consideration and action. I motion to approve the consent agenda, but pull item D8 for further discussion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes 5-0. Okay. Regarding item D8, I motion to approve the classified employment report as is, with the exception of the reemployments under Education Code 4539 of expanded learning program tutor and student supervision assistant. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion for approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. E, right? Yeah. Moving on to letter E, item E, information items, superintendent's report.
Thank you. I'll make mine quick. I'll use my superintendent's report with the presentations we just had with our Mesa Club and our mock trial team. But I also want to let our community know and our board that in the future meeting, hopefully in our next March meeting or maybe April meeting, we'll also be bringing our FFA students who also, again, have just outshined themselves again this year at our county fair. And so we also took a lot of trophies and blue ribbons and first place and second place and third place. So best of show and all those great categories at the county fair. So we will be bringing our FFA program, or our teachers and students, at a future board meeting, just like we did here today. And then also, I know that I sent out an invitation yesterday regarding a meeting, a community meeting for March 25th. And this meeting is regarding to discuss our declining enrollment and the possibilities of school closure in the Calexico Unified School District. We believe it's important to be transparent with the community and to explain the why and explain why we're having to even to have this discussion. This discussion right now is part of the process. We're not looking at actually physically if we're going to close a school. That has not been determined, or which school has not been determined. But if we were to do it, we would be looking at for the 27-28 school year. So we're not looking at the 26-27 school year this next coming year. It would be for the year after. But we do want to start the process now. We do want to start the communication now, explaining to the community why we're in this situation, as unfortunately many school districts in the state of California, throughout the state, throughout the nation for that matter, we're definitely not alone. But we have to address this here locally. I believe that if we're going to move forward with this, not to do it quick, but the quicker we can go through the process and announce, the more time we will be able to give our community to make adjustments, to plan accordingly. The more time we'll be able to facilitate the transition from one school to another. So that meeting will take place on March 25th at the CAP Center. I believe it's at 5:30. March 25th at the CAP Center. So for all those interested community members or staff members, parents, please feel free to join us. This is one of multiple meetings. It won't be the only meeting. There'll be multiple meetings on this topic because we want to give people ample opportunity. If for whatever reason they can't make this meeting, they'll have other opportunities to attend other meetings providing the same information. But this will be our first community meeting regarding this topic. Thank you, President Aviña.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Item 2, ROP Committee.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting. And we did have a IVROP board meeting this morning. And what I just passed around is the upcoming events, such as the recognition ceremony that will take place on April 16 at the Casa de Mañana, where we're going to be recognizing our CTE students and teachers. We also have an upcoming welding skills event. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, we hosted it at Calexico High School. This year, it's going to be hosted by Brawley Union on April 22nd. And then we have the upcoming Dancing with the Stars on May 1st. And this event is with the purpose to raise funds for scholarships for our high school students. And then we have the culinary skills event that's going to take place once again at the Cambria Hotel on May 19. Also, I've been sharing that Superintendent Edwin is going to be retiring on June 30th, and we have been actively recruiting for his replacement, the position of Executive Director, and those interviews are going to take place on March 30th. And also, I want to give a shout out to 5 of our CTE teachers who nominated a total of 19 students for the Top Outstanding Students Recognition. All of those 19 students are going to be recognized at the April 16 recognition ceremony. Next week, those students are going to go through an interview process where they're going to be judged, and some of them will be selected as the actual top outstanding students for the CTE program. So we're looking forward to that. And I just want to give a shout out to the 5 CTE teachers, because you have to go above and beyond to participate for these events. And it is Mrs. Polens, Chef Nunez, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Camarillo, and Mr. Gastelum for taking the time to nominate their top students. So that is my report for IVROP.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Calderon. Oops. Okay, item 3, board reports. Ms. Contreras.
I just wanted to make sure that we thank our robotics team, our mock trial team, just like we did earlier. I think, when you make that investment, it creates a balance in a lot of our budget and the things that we have to put first and the things that, we have to balance out. However, you see the improvement of the students, the way that the teachers participate, the payout, I think, for a lot of our teachers that invest a lot of time with our students, being the first year that the mock came back, and taking a third place is really something that, is fantastic for our school. And it tells us a lot about the grit and about the dedication that our students have, the parents that were here today supporting those kids and the kids from the robotics. I know that sometimes we are looking for the resources, and nowadays that we continue to get resources cut out, that we make it where we're looking at the budget with that importance in mind, to continue growing those minds and, making sure that we continue to feed those things that are important to the kids, that are part of their academics on the outside, or the extra hours or things like that. So I know that we're going to continue to work on doing a lot of that stuff. On a second thing, I'd like to thank Coach Hugo Estrada from the basketball team, who has been named IVL Coach of the Year from Imperial County. Him and Mr. Rodriguez put a lot of time with the kids along with other staff, and while they fell short on CIF, they did an excellent job this year, staying undefeated on IVL and putting in a lot of the work. And again, I think that just kind of reflects a lot of the work that our teachers do, aside from what we see on a day-to-day basis, or going beyond on some of the stuff that it falls within their educational component. The last thing, I just want to make sure that we make sure that we continue to encourage our community to attend this meetings on the closures of the schools and the changes that we need to make, because their voice is important. There's a lot of changes that are coming due to budget cuts, due to reduction in enrollment, and we need to make sure that the public understands the reasoning behind it, and that a lot of their questioning helps us make the proper decisions. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Contreras. Mr. Arellano.
If I can add to Mr. Contreras' comment, I also want to congratulate the MESA team. The mock trial, interesting fact, Mr. Magallanes was my teacher a long time ago. And if I may, Ms. Mesa, can I mention? Okay, I want to apologize before. Ms. Mesa was my wife's teacher. Then she became my older daughter's teacher. So I'm hoping that we can deny her retirement, at least until my youngest. She's a year old. So maybe a few more years. But again, we have great teachers here. As I look around the room, we have excellent teachers. We have excellent employees. And this is, I know we don't praise the teachers enough when students receive awards. It's all the credit should go to them, but I also want to recognize the teachers that take them there. So Ms. Mesa, Mr. Mayas took off, but if you have a chance, just make sure you thank them. Thank you.
Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Again, piggybacking on colleagues' words. So Mr. Magallanes, I remember when we hired him in the district, so to teach you later. But again, I think it's a great pleasure to see what we're all about, and that's with the students first, right? To see them here today celebrating their successes, whether it be the robotics, mock trial. There's so many other activities that our students participate in. But again, thankful for the community, our educators, our staff that make that possible. Again, I think there's so much the students learn, the experiences they get valuable that they take with them, the soft skills, just the communication, collaboration, problem solving, critical thinking is just outside the classroom, but it's hands-on, real-world experiences. So it helps build the whole child, whole student, and our future workforce. So again, maybe after competitions are over, we might see that robotic machine come back in. I think they're Unimatic 6515. I remember that because my own kids went through the program, and they're doing well as well. Same thing, a note. Very pleased to see that Calexico and the Unified PE program continues, participating. Recently with the Centro programs events. So always glad to see that continuing here. And then piggybacking on Ms. Calderon here. Calexico Education Foundation has their fundraiser coming up. So just a plug for that. That's in May. So thank you to all of you who have supported and continue to support our students and their scholarships and higher education endeavors. So thank you.
Good evening once again, everyone. Thank you, President Aviña and Superintendent Jimenez for coordinating and including these presentations into our board meetings. First of all, the main reason why we do this is because we owe it to them to honor them publicly and congratulate them at a board meeting. But what we get in return is a reminder of why we do what we do, why we're sitting up here. It's a great reminder, so thank you for putting that together and including it on board meeting agenda. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend the Healthy Burger, which I believe is rotating around several sites. It was at CHS 9. It was a delicious burger, and the sides were incredible. I took pictures. It just looked so beautiful, so colorful, all the fruits and vegetables. And I ate, what is it, Araceli? It was a sweet potato, and it was purple. And it did not taste like a vegetable. It was delicious. It was oven roasted. I think that's why I liked it. It was oven roasted. It's from Japan. Had to order it from the state because you will not find it at your local supermarket. So I felt very honored to have a taste of that delicious sweet potato. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for doing those events for our students. I was there during their lunch break. I was able to see them enjoy their meal. And thank you for feeding them and for feeding them. I wish when I was growing up, I had those. It was all frozen back in LA. So thank you. Thank you for taking care of our students. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have a question. Are we going to try that food today or no? Yes? Maybe next time. I'll be short. Just like my colleague said, no. Thank you to all the students that were here. Like Ms. Calderon said, it's a reminder. It's a reminder that that's why we're here, right? All these decisions that we make behind the scenes and here in front of the public, at the end is for the best of our students, okay? So thanks to all the teachers that help get these kids here, from the kindergarten teachers they had to the last teachers they have, and the parents. It takes a village to raise a child. So thanks to everybody. And also our departments, our departments here at the district office, they do a lot for our students. They mentioned Ms. Price being at in these competitions, watching, talking to kids, the funding that goes with it. Ms. Ramirez, you were mentioned, you're out there as well. So everybody, our special ed department, curriculum, everybody plays a role, right? At the end of the day, it's about the students. So thank you. I did attend Mainz Elementary. No, sorry, not Mainz. Blanche Charles Elementary at their back to school night. Yeah, back to school open house. Yeah, and it was nice. It was nice to see. That it's a great team over there. Mr. Santos, Mr. Stone, and Mr. Ariola. those three make a great team. I was watching them in action, how they interacted with the staff, with the parents, the kids. It's pretty amazing. So great atmosphere, great culture there, and I got to visit every single classroom, and they had a packed house. You know, some teachers they didn't have enough room for the parents to sit because the parents and the children, there were a lot. So thank you, and thank you for all those cookies and donuts they had in the back tables. I ate more than I should have, but hey, once in a while. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Oh, I continue. Okay, F, action items. Consideration and action approval of the following items. Item 1. Have presentation?
Can we pull table item number 5 for a later day in consideration and review?
Sure, if there's a motion to table it in a second.
I'll make it. I'll make the motion.
Okay. I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Motion passes. I think I skipped something. Did I say something, Mr.
No,
Cruz?
you're good. We're on to number 1, approval of fiscal year 25-26 interim financial reports, and Mr. Torre will provide a very quick
presentation. Okay, yeah. That's
Good evening, President Aviña, trustees, Superintendent Jimenez, colleagues, and community. I will try to make it quick. I wasn't planning on making it really quick, but I'll give my best shot.
Thank you. Next item. Put the timer on.
Put the timer on. So again, thank you for this opportunity to bring to you the second interim report. I do want to thank everyone who's here and a lot of people who are not here today because this 140 plus page report, I think somebody mentioned earlier, it takes a village. This one takes a village as well. We're going to share some macro numbers with you, but we work at a very micro level with all the budget lines. So a special thank you to Cesar Sanchez here. He is our accounting supervisor, and he's instrumental in putting this budget together. We reviewed thousands of budget lines. Right, Cesar? So just really quick, this is the second interim report is one of the 2 interim reports that we bring to you for consideration. In the first interim report that we brought to you back in December, we were taking a look at actual expenditures through October 31st. And then as previously mentioned, we work with coordinators and managers, and we look to forecast the rest of the fiscal year. With actuals through October 31st, there's not a lot of activity just yet. So we do a lot of forecasting to see what the rest of the fiscal year is going to look like. Fast forward to this report, the second interim report, we're taking a look at actuals through January 31st. Now we have a lot more information that is factual information that actually happened. And then we continue to do the same thing. We take a look at all of the expenditures that happen, we extrapolate data, work with the coordinators, work with administration, always with an eye to look to show improvement in our financials. This is the California budget line, budget timeline. You've seen it many, many times. I'll just highlight there that we recently received information from the governor in the governor's January budget update. The January budget update helps inform those type of assumptions that we need to make when we're putting together the second interim report. We will then look forward to the May revised report, and that will help us when we're putting together, and even before that, when we're putting together our estimated actuals, and we start putting together our July 1st budget for the next fiscal year, which, again, I mentioned Cesar right now, we're already talking about the July 1st budget. We're gonna start working on that pretty soon. So many major factors influencing district budgeting. It was already mentioned by some of our trustees, the declining enrollment, the reduction in the funding that we receive, because we actually receive funding based on average daily attendance. We do not receive funding on enrollment numbers, and that creates another challenge for all school districts, including Calexico. And then mentioned in there the increasing cost due to unfunded or underfunded mandates by the state of California. And we'll speak a little bit more about that. Like anything else, we're feeling inflation. One of those that we have seen increasing, although it's tempered down a little bit, is the pension rates, right? Right now, we're paying a high rate for the employer contribution, and then the employee also pays a contribution. It's a great thing, but it's also a strong fiscal impact to our budget. So as I mentioned, our budgeting and projections are informed by many different assumptions and many different planning factors. There you see what our current enrollment rate is. For 26, 27, 28, what we have done is we have taken the recent demographic and enrollment report that was provided to us by SchoolWorks, and so that has better informed what those projected enrollment numbers are going to be looking like. And then as far as the funded ADA, we school districts still have the benefit of the 3-year average that the governor continues to support. That does help us. As you can see on the right-hand side there, our actual ADA at 7,227.97 gives us a yield to our enrollment of right about 92.8%, right? And that's what we are projecting for the rest of the fiscal year. However, because we are funded using the 3-year average, with the ADA at 7,545, it does give us a higher yield compared to our enrollment. So that's a benefit to us. However, as we continue to see declining enrollment, then that 3-year average will continue to decline and really start getting closer to our actual ADA. One of the things that I wanted to also mention is, and I have it highlighted there in different colors, the LCFF allocation based on our ADA is a very dynamic amount from the state of California. It's ever changing. And so as we're planning the current fiscal year and the 2 years out, every time we take a look at our budget and we're putting together an interim report, we really have to take a look at what that LCFF calculator looks like. As an example, in prior presentations, you see there that COLA projection at second interim for March 2025. For the current fiscal year, the governor had said we're gonna be giving you a 2.43% COLA. When we presented the first interim report back in December with the information that we received on the LCFF calculator in November, that was 2.3%. So the COLA was reduced from what we had originally used to plan the current fiscal year. Same thing for the upcoming fiscal years. Back in March of 2025, the governor had said the COLA is going to be 3.52%. And then at first interim, the COLA was reduced by the governor to 3.02. At the January governor's budget, that was reduced to 2.41%. And same thing for year 27, 28. So what we want to present there is that we must continue to make sure that we sort of keep our head on a swivel and make sure that we're looking at what that projected funding adjustments are going to be. Because sometimes we project out based on what that information currently is. And then unfortunately, in these last couple of years or interim reports, we have seen those COLA numbers come down. And that's a direct impact to our funding. At the bottom there, you see that, again, the loss of enrollment and impacted through ADA. The loss of enrollment at the bottom there from 25, 26 to 26, 27, for us is equivalent to about $2.8 million less in LCFF revenue with the current picture in time in the LCFF calculator. That number may go down at the next LCFF calculator, or maybe it'll go up, but it's more than likely going to go down a little bit. In this slide, the information that I just mentioned is the same, right? You can see in the different LCFF calculators where we were the amount of money and the amount of COLA that we were projecting has changed over the different LCFF calculators. Each one of those LCFF calculators are a different point in time. with the most current one being the February 6th calculator that we used to put together the second interim report. But you can see there the volatility of the COLA, and you can see down there at the bottom how it translates to a different amount of funding that the school district is projected to receive at any given point. So, and of course, with the January governor's budget, we have to remain cognizant and always recognize that not all programs not all funding that we receive is actually going to receive a COLA. So there on the left-hand side are all of the categorical programs that do not receive a COLA, and then on the right-hand side, the ones that do. So we may be projecting increase in expenditures in just about every resource or funding stream that we receive, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be receiving additional funds for each one of those programs. So now we move into comparing the second interim to the first interim report. And in this slide here, what we're presenting the unrestricted funds. So as you can see there, we are currently projecting a decrease in funding of $1.3 million as we compare the second interim to the first interim to there. And that's largely due to the decrease in the LCFF calculator and the funding that we're projected to receive. Again, a different picture in time. The great thing was that we have also been working on reducing expenditures wherever we can, and you see that we reduce expenditures, the projected expenditures are reduced by $922,000. So bottom line for us, as we take a look at that number all the way at the bottom, or almost at the bottom, we are projecting a very modest increase to our ending fund balance for unrestricted funds of, and I'll use the word, of only $45,000. So it is an improvement, and again, this is utilizing data and actuals through January 31st, and then the team will continue to work and see where it is that we can continue to save funds. Protecting the unrestricted funding that we receive is the most important thing that we can do as a school district to build upon our reserves. So this is the same information comparing the second interim to the first interim, but this is for the restricted side of the house. So these are the restricted funds. And so for the restricted side of the house, you see there that we're actually projecting an increase at second interim in revenue of $2.8 million. And that's largely due to the student support and professional development grant that we have just received. We are working on an expenditure plan for that. So it's additional revenue that we received just recently. On the expenditure side of it, you see that we're projecting a very modest decrease of $288,000. Therefore, all the way at the bottom line is we are projecting an increase of $2.1 million to the ending fund balance of restricted funds. But again, that's largely due to the funding that we just received, that we're going to be working on an expenditure plan for that. And this slide brings together both the unrestricted side of the house and the restricted side of the house that we just presented. And I apologize because it says unrestricted and unrestricted, but it should say unrestricted and restricted. And so, again, I mentioned that, that we're presenting numbers to you at a very macro level. However, we do work at every budget line level at a very micro level. So overall, the aggregate amount in our general fund, restricted and unrestricted, is really only a change of less than 1% in revenues and less than 1% of change in expenditures. Less than 1% increase in revenues, which is a good thing, and then less than 1% decrease in expenditures. So that's also a good thing. Those two are, although very small, they're both going in the right direction. And you can see if you look at the attachment on the agenda on page 17 of Form 1, it also provides this information, and then it goes into a lot more detail. So this is how we present to you the second interim as compared to the first interim for the current fiscal year 25-26. Now, in these two graphic depictions, we always like to bring to you just kind of what it looks like in a pie chart. We continue to spend over 73% of our funds in salary and fringe benefits. So we are a human services delivery organization, and our funding reflects that we spend our money on our human resources, which is all of our great staff that works at our school district. And then as you can see, and I mentioned before the importance of the LCFF funding, the majority of our district funding, which is 67.47%, comes from the LCFF entitlement. So again, that compares the second interim to the first interim. Now, whenever we put together a budget, we also have to look at what the next 2 years look like for us, right? And so in this case, for fiscal year 25-26, we already presented that information. Why are we achieving these numbers? The district continues to invest district funds in staff. The district, as has been mentioned previously, we have invested district resources in the Energy Infrastructure Modernization Project, and then many other projects that we have throughout the school district. So we have to continue to invest in our people, and we have to continue to invest in the facilities to provide the educational experience for our students and for our staff. I mentioned, and we mentioned this before, as far as the Energy Infrastructure Modernization Project, we are already now achieving energy savings and operational savings, and then for the next year we will be achieving full year savings in both operationals and energy savings. And we also expect and project to receive reimbursements tied to the Energy Infrastructure Modernization Project from the different funding sources, and that's why for fiscal year 26-27, then we have the opportunity to improve on our reserves, right? It's definitely worth mentioning that we continue to see declining enrollment. We see, of course, ADA, so we must continue to make those hard decisions and strategically look to save funds wherever we can, right? And declining enrollment translates into declining human services because we must. And the district has been very strategic is the word that I want to use. And just as a reminder, in fiscal year 23-24, unfortunately, we had a reduction of 11 certificated positions and 24 classified positions. In fiscal year 24-25, we had a reduction of 16 certificated positions and 4 classified positions. In the current fiscal year, we had a reduction of 20 certificated positions and 26 classified positions, as reflected by our declining enrollments. So we must continue to be very strategic on how we adjust our expenditures, both on the human services side of it as anywhere else we can as well, so that we can remain fiscally solvent. So again, just why are we projecting deficit spending in the current year and the third year out, declining enrollment? We talked about a lot of this information that is on this slide. High contributions to underfunded programs like special education. Worth mentioning that the governor mentioned in January that special education may receive for the next fiscal year a higher funding of $999 per student. I know it doesn't sound like a lot. We're currently receiving $817. For us, based on our ADA, that could look like an additional $1.3 million for a school district. And if that happens, that will allow us to reduce our contribution from general fund to restricted funds, right? And most importantly, we really need those funds to be able to provide high quality services to our students. As mentioned, right, very important for us to continue to review our position control and our vacancies, make sure that we are maximizing. I know that Ms. Brisa just walked out right now. I'm not putting her on blast that she walked out. I'm actually want to thank her because she works really, really hard, as well as other staff in our district, in seeking additional funding sources. The more that we can seek additional funding sources, the more that we can relieve the general unrestricted side of the house and build upon our reserves. With this budget and this projection, we are increasing our ending fund balance, but we have to keep in mind that in our reserves, but we have to keep in mind that we will continue to have the lowest reserves this year than any other school district in Imperial County. So although we are seeing a slight improvement, next year we'll see much more because we expect to receive funding from some of those investments that we have been making. So, So tonight we bring to you for your consideration, it is a positive certification. Again, we are seeing an improvement from second interim to first interim. We did see an improvement in first interim as compared to the revised September budget. We did see an improvement in the revised September budget to our July 1st budget. And we do expect to bring to you an improvement as we bring to you later on the estimated actuals, and then we close out the unaudited actuals. So for your consideration, again, we bring to you a positive certification. I don't know if you have any questions.
If I could make a comment, President Avena, really quick, I do want to acknowledge our business team and our whole entire school community, because it's our responsibility to bring forth to the board a positive certification, right? And our budget is audited at multiple levels. It's audited by the County Office of Education at the local level, by CDE at the state level, and by an independent third-party auditor, right? That it's a private firm, private company, that they go over our books, they look at our revenues, they look at our expenditures, they look at our projections, and then ultimately they give us their determination, their reports. So it does us no good, does nobody. Our teachers, our employees, our classified, our students, our schools, no good to run a budget and where we're going to get a negative certification or an unqualified certification. That's the last thing we can do to our school district, because that puts the board in a horrible predicament of having to make a decision on the budget that's not certified or received a negative certification. And it's the board's legal duty to maintain the district fiscally solvent. And if we do, not to sound doomsday, but it's happening throughout the state of California. This is not maybe, perhaps, it's never happened in 100 years. This is happening as we speak, where districts are going into receivership and the state is taking over because the districts are essentially going bankrupt. We're in Calexico, we're been very, I'm going to use the word aggressive in taking care of our budget and trying to keep our budget fiscally solvent so we could bring to the board a positive certification. But as Mr. La Torre says, and I think it's worth highlighting, that we do have the lowest reserve in the 17 school districts in Imperial County, sitting at about a 6% right now. The industry recommendation would be above a 10%, 12%, 15%. So, we're about less than half of that. The FICMAT statute minimum is a 3%, but nobody wants to be at a 3%. For us, the 3% wouldn't pay a month's worth of salary, right? And so it's not easy. It's complicated work, but we take very, very serious that we want to provide great programs, great services. We want to provide competitive salaries. We want to provide good benefits. We want to provide, pay our retirement contributions, and we want to put in a complete package together of programs and services and financial well-being. It's not easy work, and for that I do want to thank our business department, our school board for your leadership. I want to thank our union leadership and for their partnership and working together in collaboration and understanding that these are very, very difficult decisions that we need to make. But at the end of the day, nobody wins if our budget becomes unqualified and gets a negative certification. It's not good for anybody, and that's the last thing that we wanna ever bring to the board. So thank you, Mr. La Torre, Cesar. I see you here. I know Vanessa Gonzalez and our whole business department team for the board's leadership and all of our partners in education to maintain this positive certification.
Thank you, Mr. De La Torre, for this report, and thank you, Mr. Jimenez, and your team for bringing us a positive certification. I know there's a lot that goes into this. Like you said, this is the macro level, but we also hear and see the micro levels. So thank you for this. And I would just add and also thank you for the latest, I guess, approach or strategy of building up our ADA, improving attendance by the recent Saturday school attendance recovery. And I know there's some plans for next year to improve that as well. And again, the money is for our kids. It provides services, programs. We saw it tonight with all these activities our students are doing. Everything costs money, right? So money is important to provide services for our kids. So just once again, thank you to everybody that works hard on getting this positive certification, so that we can have a easier job as the board approving, making the difficult decisions and approving stuff with the positive certification. So thank you.
Thank you.
Board members, anybody else has
I
comment?
did have a question, but Mr. Jimenez responded, and it is on the reserves. And I think that we need to be conscious with, I know that you said we're going to get some additional money into the reserves, but we've been pulling out of the reserves, right? So anytime you pull money out, you're just putting back into the bank. We're looking at just staying solvent enough. And I think it's one of the things that we need to make sure that we continue to consider. And, hopefully at one point or another, we're able to get to that 10% at a minimum, on our reserves, to make sure that everything that needs to be paid in case of an emergency or anything like that, or frozen funds or whatever happens, right, that we're able to cover salaries for our employees and the benefits for our employees. And I think that that's very important for you to point it out the way you did, because I think we're gaining on it, right? But sometimes it's just like that 1%. But I think eventually we will get there. Thank you for looking at the micro component of it, because sometimes it's just one little number that could be off that makes a huge difference. Thank you.
Thank you. And I was sorry, and not to correct my boss by any means, sir. But I had shared with Mr. Jimenez in the past that we were around that 6%. I am happy to report that we saw an increase from 7.3 to about 7.4 for this current fiscal, but nowhere near. I know Mr. Jimenez mentioned 10%. My comfort level is more like 15%. But yeah, we are continuing to see improvements.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, so Mr. De La Torre mentioned something that needs to be highlighted because it is a big piece of good news, and that's the governor's proposal to increase the funds for special education to $999 per student. That is big news, because although our overall student declining enrollment is real, our increase of special ed population students is increasing. And it's only going to be increasing more and more each year, and it is very costly to serve that student population, and they need it. They need it. We need to serve them. So I felt the need to highlight that, because it is a big piece of good news, because it will alleviate our general funds. And again, everyone's saying it, but we have to repeat it. Thank you to everyone and the business team for leading it. Positive certification means that we will meet our financial obligations this year and the next 2 years. A qualified certification is we may or we may not. And we don't want to have those uncertainties and that burden on our shoulders of what's going to happen tomorrow. So thank you for being so diligent, for providing all of the information that we need on the presentation, and we'll see you again in June.
And a negative certification, Ms. Calderon?
And the what?
And a negative certification
That
means?
we will definitely not meet our obligations. Yeah, we know we don't want to go there.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So,
I'll move for approval of item number 1 of the fiscal year 2025-26 interim financial report.
I'll second.
Second, we have first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item 2, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and I Think Big Schools Assemblies Incorporation to provide social emotional support assemblies to students at dual elementary school.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 3, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Rainforest Art Project for a mural project at William Moreno Junior High. Motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item 4, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial Valley Regional Occupational Program, IVROP, from July 1st, 2026 to June 30, 2029.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. We took care of item 5. Yes. Okay. Item 6, recognition of Booster Club, Calexico Softball Booster Club for fiscal year 2025-2026. Motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Yep. Item 7, resolution authorizing cooperation purchasing of technology hardware, software, and related services from Dell Marketing.
Make a motion to approve?
Second that motion.
Mr. Contreras,
Yes.
Mr. Arellano,
Yes.
Mr. Castillo,
Yes.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes.
and Mr. Avilla, yes. Motion passes 5-0. Public comments? No? Okay. Announcement of convening into closed session.